Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I would allow us to wait until 5 minutes after 7, if you all allow me, before we start the program. Thank you for joining in on time. And may we kindly just wait another 2 minutes to see. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I would allow us to wait until 5 minutes after 7, if you all allow me, before we start the program. Thank you for joining in on time. And may we kindly just wait another 2 minutes to see. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening once again. My apologies for my echo. I don't know what brought about that echo, but I'm back, managed to log back in. It is 6 minutes after 7, and I would like to welcome all of you to this evening's program with Jessie Ndaba. We are celebrating the 24-year anniversary of the launch of SUNSAT, and getting to understand more about her journey. Yet before we start, I would like us to start with a prayer, as we always do on this platform. And I would ask Mr. Dumisani Sondlo to give us the opportunity to pray for us, so to open this event. Mr. Sondlo?
Good evening, everybody. May we bow our heads and pray. Father God, we thank you for this time together. We thank you that you are here with us. We thank you that as we are gathered together, Lord, you have promised us that where we are gathered in your name, that you are there in our midst. And in the name of Jesus, we bless everybody who is here. We bless everybody who will be joining, everybody who will catch this on any platform, and anyone who will hear about what is going to take place here tonight. In the name of Jesus, we bless Jessie. Bless everybody who will participate in any way in this event. We ask you, Father, to bring light to our country, bring energy to our country, bring ideas to our country. Let it be known that people who are gathered here got together and at some point had ideas which brought solutions to this country. In the name of Jesus, we pray, we give you glory. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for that warm welcoming prayer and the blessings that we are receiving through your prayer and the Sondlo. And without further ado, I'm doing my best to make sure that we keep to the time because some of us may be load shed, so that we get to do the best. And for those that are using their backup energy so that it doesn't run out, we are all here and welcome to this platform. Like I said, where we will be celebrating 24 years of this journey of South Africa awakening to this great, wonderful technology, where we were able to see that we can use the technology, but also be creative and innovate and get to put something down in the name of South Africa, in the name of South Africans. And through this journey, we have met the likes of Miss Jessie, who would soon come onto the platform. But before she does come, would like to set the scene by allowing Mr. Kaiser Moroka from the Government Department of Science and Innovation. He is the Deputy Director in the Space Science and Technology Division, and he will be here to give us information for those that are refreshing their memories and those that are new into this platform, where he'll give us milestones along South Africa's space journey. Dr. Moroka, we'll appreciate you to give us that opportunity to learn more about where is South Africa, where do we come from, and perhaps where we're going. I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Madam Dube. I don't know whether you want to see my face. And
I would truly appreciate to see your face, but hey, if it's in the dark city,
yes.
I can't this is the most beautiful country where we can actually get on with business with or without cover. Please grace us with your presentation. I'll appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's see.
Mr. Moroka, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Do you have sharing rights where you can share your presentation with us? It is your turn to just give us a little bit about the milestones on South Africa's space journey.
Oh, I'm muted. Is my presentation? Can you see?
Yes, you can. We can see it. You can make it into slideshow so that we can follow it.
Yes, yes, it can be nice. It's nice that way. Thanks, Madam. Voilà. As I shared earlier, honorable guests, ISA alumni, SUNSAT team, Sumbandila set team, CPUT team, UKZN team, space industry, South African space industry, SUNSA, government officials, Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you all. I'm pleased and honored to be with you this evening on this platform to give you an account of the South African space journey over 30 years, 1993 to 2023, highlighting some of the milestones we achieved, starting with the South African Act 84 of 1993. South African Act of 1993, which is under the Department of Trade and Industry, which is today known as Trade, Industry and Competition, intended to provide for the establishment of a council to manage and control certain space affairs and to determine its objects and functions, to prescribe the manner in which it is to be managed and controlled. 1998 to 2004, ladies and gentlemen, Department of Communications, together with Stellenbosch University, partnered on Human Capital Development Program to establish the Institute for Satellite and Software Applications, ISA. ISA trained over 450 students in specialized high-tech areas, producing 187 Microsoft certification, 84 Cisco qualifications, and 20 Oracle qualifications. On the engineering side, ISA also trained 153 postgraduate engineers. And out of these 153, 55 obtained Masters of Science in Satellite Engineering. In addition to that, 10 students obtained Masters of Science in Remote Sensing from University of Toulouse. Ladies and gentlemen, all these were achieved during 1998 to 2004 period. 23 February 1999, exactly 24 years ago, a 64-kilogram microsatellite was launched. This microsatellite was built by Stellenbosch University Masters and PhD students of electrical and electronic engineering. The satellite itself was launched from the USA Delta II launch vehicle, as we are today celebrating 24 years of this very first South African satellite, ZA001. Come on, work with me here. Every time when I mention a satellite launch, now increment that by 1 and see how far we go. 2003, South Africa endorsed Astronomy Geographic Advantage Program. 2005 to 2006, Department of Science and Technology contracted Stellenbosch University, which the university subcontracted SUNSpace and Information Pty Ltd, to build a 81-kilogram microsatellite, later named Zombandila satellite. The program trained about 10 engineers, Black engineers, as engineers in training, and also on the academic program produced master's students and PhD students. 2007, South Africa also enacted another act of astronomy geographic advantage, which is Act number 21 of 2007. And this act aims was to provide for the preservation and protection of areas within the Republic that are uniquely suited for optical and radio astronomy, and also to provide intergovernmental cooperation and public consultation on matters concerning nationally significant astronomy advantage areas. On 29 November, that was my birthday, 2007, the South African Earth Observation Strategy, SIOS, was launched. 2008, President Kgalema Motlanthe signed or enacted a National Space Agency Act 36, and also signed the National Space Policy. The 2008 Act number 36 was to provide for the preservation the promotion and use of space and cooperation in the related activities and foster research in space science, advance scientific engineering through human capital, support the creation of an environment conducive to industrial development in space technology within the framework of national government policy, and for that purpose, establish the South African National Space Agency. 17 September, ladies and gentlemen, 2009, that Sumbandila satellite, which was built in 2006, was launched from a Russian launch vehicle. This is ZA002. Remember, I said, let's work together here. 2009, South Africa and France signed a memorandum of understanding on technology and innovation. The program is known as the French-South Africa Institute of Technology, or FSATI, in which CPUT, Cape Peninsula University of Technology, and Tshwane University of Technology, TUT, participates. CPUT produced 74 satellite engineers, some of them with dual qualification. That is South Africa and France. And these engineers, or this program, didn't just give us qualified engineers. The very same students also produced 5 CubeSats, which were launched. So you work with me here. Remember, we are at ZAA002. On the 9th of December 2010, Minister Naledi Pandor launched the South African National Space Agency and National Space Strategy. November 2011, ladies and gentlemen, South Africa hosted International Astronautical Congress, the 62nd IAC, in Cape Town International Convention Center. 2012, May 25th, South Africa was awarded 70% and Australia 30% of the Global Square Kilometer Array project. Exciting. 2013, CPUT, remember I said they gave us 5 CubeSats, launched the very first CubeSat known as Tshepiso Sat. So in terms of satellites, we are where? ZA003. December 2017, South Africa hosted the United Nations Basic Space Technology Initiative Symposium, known as BSTI, at Stellenbosch University. 2017, 18, Astrophica Technologies was founded and established by Jessie and Khalid Manju. 2018, South Africa launched a precursor of marine domain awareness, Cube satellite constellation. Now where are we? ZA004. I'm sure we together. 2020, SUNSAT Space Infrastructure Hub, SIH, was announced by the president. The amount of 4.47 billion was put in place for SUNSAT to, the president announced SUNSAT Space Infrastructure Hub. Of that amount of 4.47 billion, it funding as part of the South African government plan to boost economic growth and infrastructure development. Ladies and gentlemen, as we make advances in this space, March 2020, a team of experts produced a launch capability report, which was approved by Department of Science and Innovation Executive Committee. And this report will be incorporated in the Aerospace and Defense Master Plan. 2021, University of KwaZulu-Natal, UKZN, launched vehicle test campaigns. And today, the university is holding a record of 18.3 kilometer altitude in Africa out of universities. January 2022, a constellation of 3 MDA CubeSats was launched from SpaceX launch vehicle. So where are we now? ZAA00567. Those are our satellites in the outer space. November 2022, South Africa launched, together with the International Civil Aviation Organization, a global space weather center in Hermanus under SUNSAT Space Science. The very same month of November 2022, South Africa and NASA signed letter of intent on Deep Space Network. The program is ongoing. January this year, 2023, ladies and gentlemen, we witnessed another launch. Dragonfly Aerospace, Pty Limited. They launched AgriSat from SpaceX. Now, where are we? ZA008. Those are our satellites as South Africa that we put in outer space, contributing to the debris, but to our benefit. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, the Earth observation community is hosting an international meeting from the 6th to the 10th of November, 2023, which is Geo-Ministerial Summit and Plenary in Cape Town, International Convention Center. You heard it from this platform, from the reliable source. I thank you, and thank you for listening. Those are our achievements so far as we're going forward. I thank you, Madam Dube.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moroka, for such a detailed and very interesting journey that South Africa has had to date when it comes to space science and technology. And thank you for everything that you've shared with us. I trust the comments and questions would go into the chat room at the moment, and we would be going to our next speaker, who is our guest speaker that we're waiting for tonight. She's the Chief Commercial Officer and co-owner of Astrophica Technology, a qualified electrical satellite engineer from Wits University, and has established and co-founded Astrophica Technology in 2007 together with her business partner, Khalid Manju. She joined the space industry in 2006. She was part of the AI team that prepared SUNSAT launch in 2009. She also received a Young Space Leadership Award in 2010. Then she went on to join the International Space University in 2011 to further her studies in space systems technology. She was part of a technical team that developed the Aerospace and Defense Master Plan after the successful completion of the Space Industry Development Policy Framework. She did join the National Earth Observation and Space Secretariat as a co-chair of the SATCOM and Navigation Community of Practice. She was also invited to serve under the SUNSAT board by the Minister of Science and Innovation, and she continues to mentor young South Africans in the space industry in South Africa as sponsored programs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please allow our guest speaker, Ms. Jessie Ndaba, to grace us with her presence, share with us her journey, her mindset, how she made it this far, and what the future holds for us from her perspective. Ms. Ndaba, please welcome.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Lerato. Yeah, I used to love your beautiful smile. You haven't changed. I'm disappointed though that we don't have each other's contacts, you know. I almost said Khaled. Kaiser kept on forwarding messages from you, and I'm like, are these from Lerato? This is embarrassing. Yeah, we'll sort it out. We'll sort it out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really feel honored. I don't even know where to begin. Kaiser asked me to prepare a speech, but I'm really not good in saying anything about me. I mean, those who know me know I'm a very shy person, but yeah, I guess growing up in this sector has sort of brought out something in me that I never thought existed, because sometimes I tend to talk more than I, want to. So I surprise myself. So I'm sorry that I did not prepare a presentation. I just thought I'll be talking to my colleagues. So I might as well have this as an interactive session. We'll just talk, and thanks Lerato for introducing me. Lerato has already said a bit about me. Yeah, I'm a Sowetan girl, born and bred in Soweto. I only left Johannesburg when I was joining the space sector. So I've always been a Joburger because I started in Joburg. So my life was just in Joburg until I joined SUNSpace and Stellenbosch University in 2006 for this SUNSAT program. It's actually great that I see I have some of my mentors in this session. On my way up here, because I'm in Pretoria right now, I was actually thinking, Jessie, what are you going to talk about? I'm like, where do I even begin? Because there's so many people that I think really befit, this acknowledgement. But I'm really honored to say the least. I still think my team should be here. Khaled should be here, my board should be here, all my mentors should be here, but Hendrik I see is here. Everybody actually who has contributed in my journey. In our culture, we say a child is raised by a village. And I've always said the space village has raised me, and they've contributed in my career growth or in my journey in space. And when I say the space village, I mean everyone from the academia, the industry, government, yeah, basically everyone who's in space has really contributed. I'm talking of the late Prof. Jan du Plessis, from the academia side and the industry. Robert van Zyl, I saw that he's also here. He has also contributed immensely in our growth. So there's a lot of people really that have contributed to us. I'm not going to say to me, because I'm not good again in talking about me. I would rather talk about Astrophica than Jessie. I think Astrophica is more interesting than Jessie is. I'm only a very small part of Astrophica. So you can imagine when I'm talking about the bigger picture of the entire landscape, how small Jessie is, you know, in that landscape. You won't even see her, you won't even notice her. And yeah, so yeah, it took the entire space village for us to be here. And I guess one of the reasons why you guys probably we invited us to talk is the speech by the president, you know, that we got mentioned in the sauna. And I've always said, you know, there's one thing about opportunities. They never set up an appointment. You just have to have the ears and the eyes to see or to spot that here's an opportunity. But then again, it's easy to miss an opportunity. And I guess for me, it has always been because of how I relate to people. As shy as I am, I'm very respectful. I've always said to people, education is the key to unlocking that door, but your attitude will determine if you stay within those corridors or in the boardrooms. So I was raised in a manner that I was taught to respect everyone and everything. So when I wake up in the morning, I thank God that I'm alive. You know, it's something. It's simpler things or smaller things that we as human beings tend to take for granted. You know, waking up in the morning, people do not realize that it wasn't a must. It's through God's grace that you've made it. You know, through the day. So I'm somebody who ensures that I start my day by thanking God that I'm alive, and for everything that He has blessed me with. And there are a lot of things that I can count. We could be here until tomorrow anyway. Everyone I've met in the industry is one of the blessings that I count really when I'm counting my blessings. So we started Astrophica in 2016. 2016 it was registered, but we actually started working on 2017. Again, I think our attitude with Khalid made people want to work with us really, because I remember when we approached CS, who was our boss at the time. He's our former employer, but we're still very good friends. We approached him, we told him about the company that we've started, and when we actually registered the company, we did not want to take part in space because we did not want to be seen as competitors with our boss, you know, avoiding the conflict of interest and stuff like that. And I remember talking to CS in his office, telling him what our plan is, and he was like, it would be a shame to lose you guys in space, you know. And Jessie, from what I know, space follows you. Once you've been beaten by the space bug, it follows you. And indeed, it followed us because when the USAT program started, we were appointed and we were asked to do the AIT for the USAT project, but the project was paused because there were financial constraints, there wasn't enough budget. Then I happened to meet with Rob van Zyl when we were traveling to UK space. And we just spoke, and he then told me that he needed AIT services, and yeah, I was happy to assist. Went back to CS, told him, CS, we've got this opportunity, and he said, Jessie, if you don't mind, you can run that project while you still continuing with what you have started, because we were in the middle of projects at the time. So he was like, stay here and until Astrofika is well established, you know, that you guys can cut the umbilical cord. So it's not every day that would find an employer that would say, you know, stay, you know, continue here, you know, have your safety net while you're still running your own thing, you know, until you are in a position where you can just cut the umbilical cord. So we're truly grateful to him. Yeah, but this is me just now talking about Astrofika and our journey. And then we were approached by Josie from Blueprint as well. She asked us to assist her. She had a contract to work on the industry development policy framework, but her team did not have any space background. She then approached us. Again, I spoke to CS about it. And CS said, Jessie, I think you're ready to do it. So I'm allowing you to do it as Astrofika. Again, you know, your attitude, you know, says a lot about you. So yeah, he was very supportive. That was actually a game changer for both Khalid and myself, because we both on the upstream. Because as we were doing that policy development framework, we had to do research on the entire space sector, both upstream and downstream. So for the first time, we got to understand what the downstream was all about. And then we realized that actually we've been doing things wrong by working in silos instead of working together and understand what exactly are the end users' needs. You know, instead of us as engineers designing and building these sensors and say to the end users, this is the data that you can get, see what you can develop out of it, instead of really understanding what the requirements or the challenges are, and then design a solution that would actually cater for the needs. So it was, again, a turning point for Astrofika, and we appreciated the opportunity. Like I said, you know, it's a matter of having those ears and eyes because we could have easily said, no, we're not researchers, we can't do this. But we saw it as an opportunity to understand the industry as well. And I mean, as business people, you need to understand the market as well. So that again was the, you know, the opportunity that availed itself to us. I think what sets us apart is that a lot of times as people, we miss the opportunities because they come wrapped in different wrappings, you know, than what we actually expect. So we worked very well with Blueprint, and then after that, Blueprint came back to us and asked us to form part of the technical team to work on the aerospace and defense master plan that was asked by the president. We worked on that, and needless to say that it was also a successful master plan, because other sectors actually copied the one that we have actually come up with. But yeah, what I wanted to also mention, yes, now I'm talking about Astrofika, but I've left out some turning points as well in my life, you know, the reason why I am still here. I always like telling this story anyway. Those who know me would tell you that, yeah, we know that when she was at ISU, that actually made her to know why she is where she is, you know. When I was at the ISU, I was the only person from Africa. There was a guy from Nigeria who was supposed to join, but he couldn't make it. I think there were some delays with the visa application and stuff like that. So I was the only one from Africa. And at the end of the program, when we had to write a white paper to the United Nations, I had to, I mean, by default, because I'm from Africa, I had to form part of the team that was going to do research on Africa. So for the first time, really, in my life, I learned that there are countries in Africa that are so poor that when they're given seeds to plant, they cannot afford to wait for those plants to grow. So they just take those seeds and they cook them. And you can just imagine that it's a cycle of poverty, because you're taking those seeds, you're cooking them, what's going to happen tomorrow. It just broke my heart. Well, I'm from Soweto. It's not a rich township, but we aren't exposed to so much poverty, if I should put it that way. So it really broke my heart, and I thought to myself, what are we doing as space professionals if there are countries that are so poor that, you know, they would go through all of that? And then I said to myself, you know, during my time, I'd be happy if South Africa could have a satellite dedicated to e-learning and e-health, you know, because I'm a firm believer in education, that every kid deserves to be educated. But we know that that doesn't happen, because the areas that are so remote that people who grow up from there would rather go to greener pastures. They go to the cities, and they leave those kids, you know, unattended, and you find that the kids that have never seen a book or a pencil, or, you know, it's just sad, and there are places like that in Africa. So all of that just made me to grow strong in this sector. There are challenges. I mean, we all know of the challenges that we face in the space sector. We are competing with everybody else. When you're talking about space, people would be saying, yeah, but why must the government support you, you know, when we have houses to be built and all of that? So we are competing with everyone else as the space sector. That is a fact. We cannot beat about the bush about it. But the good thing is that I discovered that South Africa is led by a wonderful, smart guy, if I have to say so. The president fully understands what we are doing in space, and he fully supports that. He says, forever, for anything that we need. You know, he's not far from us. We can just, you know, call on him for any assistance that we may need. That was a relief. I can say this, you know, even when you're talking about, you know, subsystems that goes into the satellites, you know, he understands. So it's quite interesting, actually, and impressive, you know, for a president to know so much. He knows a lot about space, believe me, both upstream and downstream, and that gave me hope that, you know, yes, we've been focusing outside, and we kind of felt that we're not seen or appreciated locally at home, you know, as space professionals, because most of the work that we do is outside, because, I mean, the outside world, they know the needs, they know the impotence of space, but at home, you have to jump a lot of hoops talking to people, trying to explain what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. So I don't know what to say, guys. Please, we all colleagues here. Can we not have an interactive session? What else am I leaving out? Rob, remind me. Who else is here or online? Guys, please remind me. Henrik, do you guys want to remind me of something that I'm leaving out? So yeah, how guys, why are you not reminding me about the internship program that we ran in 2020? So yeah, we had 29 interns from South Africa and 8 interns from America that we were training in 2020. And again, Astrophica works with everyone in the space sector. So we exposed our interns to all the other companies, and I'm happy to say that actually helped, because it was enhancing the chances of the interns to be consumed in the sector, because Astrophica could not consume everyone. I mean, 29 interns and 8, well, the 8 interns are Americans, obviously they will be employed back home. But yeah, with the 29 local interns, we could not have afforded to to take all of them. But yeah, some of the other companies in the upstream have actually consumed them. So yeah, it was a great success as well. What we also did differently was that we didn't just take engineers and scientists, but we took marketing people, HR people as well, because we believe that we can't do this on our own. We need marketing people with strong marketing and sales skills or background, if we want to grow in space and sustain what we're doing. So yeah, that was one of our flagships. Yeah. Am I leaving anything out? Lerato, come on, assist me. Who else is online? Guys, please help me out. What am I leaving out? What do you guys want to know about me or Astrophica that I'm leaving out?
Well, I guess in the meantime, we try to remind you what is it that you left out. Perhaps it's an opportunity for any and everyone who's got a comment or a question, who's joined us today. And I'm not sure, Tumisani, whether you are in a position to also look at the comments, if there are any on YouTube, such that you would then be able to answer those and be guided into what else it is that we need to know. Are there any questions or comments from all the 25 participants online? Anything that you'd like to know more about, or perhaps even comments that you'd like to share with Jessie at this platform? You can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself. I've got quite a small screen today. Any comments? What is the mission and vision of Astrophica?
What is our mission or our vision and our vision? So Astrophica's vision is to change people's lives using space, science, and technology. We are, I think I mentioned that both Khaled and myself are engineers, so we're strong in upstream. That's what we do. But we've also started a unit that focuses on the downstream, because we thought for us to be designing these missions, we need to understand what are the requirements. So yeah, we are also currently working on building our very own constellation of sets. It's an Earth observation constellation. So yeah, that's what we're also working on. Yeah, I know we work with everyone in the industry. We've always said we are the glue of the industry. We don't even plan on competing with anyone. We're focusing on AIT. That's what we do. That actually means we have to get components from local suppliers and put them together and build our own constellation. So yeah. I'm not sure you're satisfied. You want to know more?
Well, yes, that was from Daniel Moiketsi in the chat. But Dan, please tell us when whether she managed to answer your question. Akona is saying, congratulations on your collective journey so far. What is your wish for yourself, your company, and the industry?
Obviously, as an entrepreneur, we wish to grow, but Astrophica does not believe in growing on our own. We believe in taking others with us. So we always open to collaboration. We open to collaborating with others. We still mentoring young ones. We obviously I would want to see myself not worrying about Astrophica one day and have Astrophica run itself. But yeah, we probably would not be done by just achieving that, because we're passionate about mentoring others. We're very passionate about HCD. It's the core of Astrophica.
Oh, fantastic. That is great to hear. Akona, I hope that answers you. And we have another question from Yolanda. Is Astrophica contracted to SUNSAT or a subdivision of SUNSAT?
No. We are not subcontracted by SUNSAT. I'm a board member at SUNSAT. I was invited to serve, and that was a shock to me. That how is that possible? I mean, I'm in the sector, so what does it mean? You know, and I had to ask what it meant, you know, for us as Astrophica first before I accepted the invitation. So no, we're not a subdivision. We're not contracted by SUNSAT. I'm just a board member at SUNSAT.
Thank you very much. I hope that's about answers it, Yolanda. Tebogo Ramokgopa, how many internships have Astrophica consumed in from 2020? What do you actually specialize in? Is it only AIT? He asked. So he's got two questions. How many have you managed to absorb from 2020? And are you specializing in anything, or is it just AIT that is your stronghold?
Okay, so we have 2 permanent interns that we've consumed, but we have 4 others that we contract, you know, they are on contract basis. Yeah, so yeah, but we have 2 permanent.
Fantastic. That is very great to hear. I hope I'm answering for everyone who has asked questions, because I'm not seeing their comments afterwards. Pierre Cilius is asking, what is the status of EOSAT? Do you think you're in a position for that?
I believe Hendrik is on this call, so maybe he can respond. But I do believe that there is that will or willingness to continue with the user project. But Hendrik he's the best person to respond to this. Yeah, he's on the call. Hendrik, I'm not throwing you under the bus. You here, and yeah, I believe you're the right person to respond to this.
Okay, Hendrik, if you want, you can unmute yourself. On the comments, he says PDR stage. For some, perhaps you've encrypted it, but you are welcome to open the mic and yeah, be able to respond, perhaps just to Pierre's question. And Khabo is saying, congratulations to Astrophica and all the best for the future. Are there any other questions, comments?
Well, actually, Khabo did not mention, here's my family. So when I'm talking about the space village, I'm talking about people in the industry, even in family, because Khabo's my family. He's my brother-in-law. So yeah, thanks,
Ah,
Asmar.
we like that. We like that. They say clarity begins at home. So where else would you be able to plant the space seed if it's not through family?
Exactly.
We love that.
Exactly.
Thank you. Danielle is asking again, how significant is Astrophica in contributing to the national space strategy?
Specifically Astrophica and not even SUNSAT.
No, Astrophica.
I think part of the well, I believe, and I know it is part of the national strategy is inclusive growth in terms of economy. We see ourselves as contributors to that because transformation is also just as important. So yeah, we believe we are contributing to that. So in terms of our national space strategy, I believe Astrophica is assisting the government in achieving that, because there's so much that can be done. But obviously, we could not have just waited for the government to do things for us. We, as entrepreneurs, we know that you've got to go out there and focus on commercial. Yeah, and then, like I said, just understanding the needs of the end users. It's what makes it easier for us, because you talk to people the language that they understand. So instead of us going out and telling people that this is what we do, we rather listen first and understand what the client is going through. Then we propose what we believe could be the solution to that. So yeah, I believe we are contributing towards the national space strategy.
Certainly, I'm glad.
I mean, job creation is one of those, you know, because we are very big on job creation, like I said, with the internship that we were running. And HCD, like I said, it's the core of Astrophica.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I guess at the end of the day, you are the best dream coming true of the national space strategy, as it has wanted to develop the space industry to make sure that we've got private sector coming out of South Africa and being born out of the strategy. So that is one good thing. Okay, Daniel, how is your programs aligned with 4IR? You mentioned something about e-learning satellites for the education sector. Anything?
Okay, how is
programs aligned with 4IR?
Our programs aligned with 4IR. Currently, what we are doing is Earth observation. We're not working on ComSets, because for telehealth and teleeducation, you would be using ComSets. But we're working on Earth observation satellites. But obviously, we not want to reinvent the wheel. We also thinking of ways of providing near real-time data, which is why we also exploring doing data processing on board using AI. So we are aligned. Yeah, but our constellation is Earth observation. It's not a concept. Yeah.
Okay. Yolanda says you mentioned internship. How does one get hold of you? And just before you answer that one, I think now that it's 8 o'clock on my side of town, I might be bombed out. So should I not be here, Mr. Sondlo or Morocco will take over. Then we'll go back to Yolandi. How does she get hold of you?
I believe the organizers have my contact details, and I think online as well. If you go to our website, I'm sure. But yeah, Jessie at astrophica.com Yeah, you won't forget that. That's quite easy. Yeah, but yeah, sadly Lerato doesn't have my numbers. She communicates with me via Kaiser. We're very sad. Yeah, but Kaiser's got my numbers, and yeah, Lerato will now have my numbers. Yeah, I think I lost your contact details, and you probably lost mine. I mean, back then, yeah.
That's what happens when you retire. So after I retired, I
Hey,
guess I
lucky
lost some
you.
number. So Leo Mulwele is saying, are there opportunities for other companies, mostly SMMEs, to collaborate with Astrophica? If yes, what kind or any opportunities that are currently open for other SMMEs to collaborate with you?
Most certainly. Currently we collaborating more with the downstream people because we're not strong in that. So yeah, she can contact us, and it would be great to understand what their company is doing first before we can actually say how we can collaborate. But most certainly, just reach out to us, let us know what you do, then we can explore ways of collaborating with you. Lerato, are you still there? She's in the dark city now. Kaiser, Dumisani, are you guys still there?
By the grace of God, I'm still alive, while my friends Lerato and Dumisani disappeared into the dark space. I guess it's due to load shedding. And so far, so good. Thank you for your interactive talk, Jessie. We have another question from Tebogo Ramokgopa. How do you ensure people know of the kind of field AIT, assembly, integration, and testing, you exist, and the general public is aware of such opportunities, particularly rural disadvantaged people?
We work very closely with DSI and SUNSAT. I'm sure Dan Matsapula is online. He can assist as well with that response, because we work very closely with them in terms of outreach that they do. So yeah, there are outreach programs that we do together with SASTA from DSI and SUNSAT. Yeah, Dan is online, so he'll be the right person to assist. I guess he can take your contact details, Deboko, and find out where you're from, and yeah, maybe they can arrange to visit your area. Dan is online, right? Dan?
Dan, you want to come
I
in?
told you guys that I won't just be on the spot here, everyone.
Okay, it's unfortunate. Most of us, we're having challenge with this load shedding that we are going through. You have a complimentary note from Dr. Daniel Mweketsi. Thank you very much for responding in this way, and all the best. But he is now coming back with a question. Who is funding your organization?
And Dr. Mweketsi, we hustle. we keeping our lights on by consulting, if I should put it that way. We self-funded, should I put it that way? We have projects running. We, like I said, when I started talking, most of the work that we do is international work. It's not local. So yeah, we have clients that we are servicing. Yeah, that we're consulting. So yeah, that's how we're keeping our lights on within Astrophica.
Okay, thank you. And thank you from Daniel. PSC, where are the AIT facilities of Astrophica?
So Astrafrica doesn't have its own facilities. We're a small company, so we had to do our maths and see if, having our own facilities would be cost effective or not. So most of the clients that we are servicing have their own facilities, and that's where we do our work. But we also have partners within the industry that we work with. AAC Clyde Space, we work with them. So should there be a need to integrate and test systems or subsystems locally, there's a number of local companies that we can rent. But when we were running our internship program, we were based at Hotech. But I'm sure a lot of people who are in space know that there's still a lot of refurbishment that needs to be done there. Again, Hendrik would be the right person to respond on that. But yeah, we have partners that we work with. Thanks, Dr. Mweketsi.
Thanks, Jessie. The AIT question was from P.S. Silie. Knowing that the alumni of ESA were trained in satellites, software, and data networks, and have each been working for over 20 years, what do you see as the low-hanging fruit that they should consider vying for? If so, for some of them are to take an entrepreneurial route. Dumisani, from Dumisani.
Yeah, Dumisani, Usile, putting me on the spot.
Okay, are you still there, Jessie?
The downstream sector, that's where the money is, because really, you developing applications and products that could be used. So that's where I think the focus should be the most. But obviously, on the upstream sector as well. Hence I said we also exploring if we can do data processing on board, software engineers.
That's where the long hanging fruit
exactly is. Would also be, but mostly on the downstream, which is why Astrafrica has started a division in downstream as well, because we saw that just building the satellites will not really sustain the company, but focusing on the downstream, you can't go wrong. There'll always be a need. You look at the challenges and come up with ways of servicing those using space-based solutions. So yeah, I mean, we haven't covered all the applications that we can develop to service the African market specifically. So most definitely, there's room. There's room.
Thanks, Jessie. Let's take the last question, and Mr. Sondlo will close, or then Matsapola if he's still online. The last question is, how many people you have employed? Perhaps you can comment about the management structure of your organization. Dear Dr. Mweketsi, Daniel.
We very few. There's 11 of us. We've got the board. Then Khalid is the CEO. I'm the COO. Then we have our downstream units. I'm not sure if that covers it. So yeah, it's just the board, the CEO, the COO. We have a systems engineer that is helping us as well, and 2 downstream people that are full time.
Oh no, thanks, Jessie, Ndaba. To me, or then Matsapola, could you please have your concluding remarks and close the session officially to thank every participant in this. Dumisan? Dia?
Yes. Good evening, and thank you so very much, Jessie. I think this has been quite an amazing evening, and I think it was named quite nicely, simply Evening with Jessie, and ultimately there was no prescription of what you would actually talk about and what direction you would actually take, and you've done it in such a wonderful way that there's just no faulting you. You've come up with such an authentic story, and in the process you've taught us so much. I really want you to know that we appreciate what you have done here tonight. And the good thing is that this work is actually being streamed on YouTube, which means that it will be kept and you'll be able to access it also, and make sure that anybody who you want to have access to the content that you gave tonight is able to have that access. But just to take you back a bit, perhaps everybody who's here, we talk about the Institute for Satellite and Software Applications, and the Digital Enterprise Africa, which is the entity that has invited everybody here, is basically a new voice of that alumni community. And this is a community which, of young people who were recruited from various universities throughout the country with BSc degrees, mostly mathematics, computer science, physics, and statistics. And the aim was to bridge them from simple BSc degrees all the way to engineering careers. And that was done quite effectively. Stellenbosch University played a magnificent role when it comes to that. And the interesting thing is that I'm not going to really mention the amount that was put in to the training of people at Stellenbosch University. But the amounts, if you look at them in today's rand figure, are pretty minuscule if you look at truly what has been produced. Because we did a survey of the alumni of the Institute for Satellite and Software Applications and said, where are you? What role do you play? And how are things going? And so what we eventually did was we said, okay, let's just work with the law of averages here. So we went into a theory called capital value, where we said, what is the capital value? What is it that the alumni of ISA are actually injecting into the economy right now? So we did this survey and we said, all right, let's work with conservative figures. Let's say everybody is paid 500,000 an annum. And the formula by Napoleon Hill of the capital value is that an individual is paid normally about 6% of what they are truly putting into the economy. And so when you make the calculations, you look at that annual income, and you multiply it by 16.6667, and you'll be able to then multiply it by the number of people. So we took 200 of the alumni of the Institute for Satellite and Software Applications who are now part of the Digital Enterprise Africa environment. And what we found is that the alumni of ISA today, each and every year, are injecting 1.6 billion rand into the economy, wherever they are. Collectively, 1.6 billion. If people like, Prof. C.S. Mostert can look back, they'll see it was about 20,000 that was put in by Telkom. But that is what it is now producing per annum. And what you are doing, Jessie, is actually amazing. And it's amazing from a point of view also of the fact that you are inspiring. You are inspiring generations. And that's exactly what the alumni of ISA want to begin to do. So we would like to continue with this relationship with you and the rest of the team, people who worked in SUNSAT in SUNSAT as well as SumandilaSat and other satellites, to invite them to come into this platform and to talk to us and inspire us one by one. Because we really believe that if we cannot be what you are, Jessie, we can at least be half of what you are. And that would make a big difference. And that then cascades down to a whole lot of other South Africans and Africans all over. We really, really want to thank you for that. Thank everybody who's here tonight, everybody who has been in the platform, also on YouTube. There's a hashtag there which says bring you. We say bring you. So I'd like you to use that hashtag wherever you are, whether you're on Facebook or Twitter or any other platform. Take this conversation forward, whether you're on WhatsApp and any of the platforms that you are, show them the link to the YouTube video. Everybody who's here tonight, thank you, thank you, thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Tumsani. Thank you so much again for the beautiful prayer. You know, when we started, I immediately said to myself, I want to be here tonight, because I've always said we cannot achieve anything really if we work in silos. So I'm excited to explore how we can all work together and see what we can, you know, chase together collectively, because yeah, you can't expect to just go up on your own. When you fall, who's going to hold you? So yeah, no one will catch you if you just, you know. So yeah, we believe in taking everyone with us. I mean, we could not have gotten this far if it wasn't for the help of everyone that was with us in the industry. Really, everyone contributed to us. Hence, we still call ourselves the glue of the sector, because we can't afford not to work with everyone, because we are where we are today because of everyone that has contributed. Everyone, and by everyone I mean really everyone. So yeah, perhaps one day we'll have a physical event where we can all have dinner together, and that would be great. I would love that. I would really love that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Have a great
Bye.
evening.
You too.
Bye.
The
Bye.
best future.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Lily.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Philip. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.